I used your college fund for my dream house." Madison's voice oozed with triumph through the phone. "You're never going back to finish that degree anyway. Time to grow up and face reality." I'd gripped the edge of the walnut island in my Manhattan loft, the smooth surface grounding me as her words sank in. The $800,000 0-cent fund my grandparents had left me. Gone. Or so she thought. "Interesting," I said evenly. "And how exactly did you manage that?" "My name is Olivia Grant, and at 35 I've spent the last decade running a successful financial consulting firm, while quietly preparing to return to law school, a dream I refused to abandon." What my sister-in-law Madison didn't know was that I'd seen this coming from the moment she charmed her way into my brother Ethan's life last summer. "Oh, it was easy," she purred, clearly irritated by my calm tone. "Ethan still had access to the account your grandparents set up. All it needed was his signature. The house is stunning, by the way. A far better investment than some silly dream about law school." I could picture her smirking, bathed in the glow of the crystal chandelier she probably bragged about on Instagram. Madison had swept in like a storm, married my brother within 3 months, and started asking unsettlingly specific questions about family finances over Sunday brunches. "Well, thanks for letting me know," I replied, powering on my laptop. "I hope you enjoy the house." "That's it?" Madison's tone spiked with irritation. "No begging, no drama. Come on, Olivia, give me something." I hung up without a word. 1 click later, the email I'd been waiting for glowed on my screen. Confirmation from my attorney. The transfer they'd attempted? Blocked. The funds had been safely moved to a trust weeks ago, under my sole control. Grandma always said, "Plan for storms before they hit." She built her empire from nothing and taught me every trick in the book. When Madison started sniffing around, I took Grandma's advice to heart. I dialed my attorney, voice steady. "Hi, Rachel, I just got the call. Everything's documented," she confirmed. "Every forged document, every timestamp. Airtight. Perfect." Madison wanted a dream house. What she bought was a legal nightmare. "Your brother's signature appears to have been coerced. Do you want to press charges?" Rachel's voice was calm, but the weight of her question pressed heavy through the line. I thought about Ethan, my protective older brother. Growing up in Brooklyn in the early 2000s, he was my shield, stepping between me and every middle school bully. He helped me survive our parents' bitter divorce when I was barely 13. And now, he was married to a woman who made those childhood bullies look like amateurs. "Not yet," I replied. "Let's wait. I want to see what Madison does when she realizes the transfer failed." After hanging up, I walked to my home office in my Upper East Side apartment and opened the bottom drawer of my filing cabinet. Inside was a thick folder labeled Grandma's Letters. I pulled out the most recent one, written 2 years ago, just weeks before she passed. "My dearest Olivia, I'm leaving you this money because I believe in your dream. The law isn't just a career for you, it's a calling. Don't let anyone tell you it's too late. And most importantly, don't let anyone steal this chance. You're smarter than they think. Love, Grandma." I traced her elegant signature, remembering how she'd taught me the art of handwriting analysis when I was 12. That skill helped me catch the sloppy inconsistencies in Ethan's forged signature on the withdrawal form Madison submitted. My phone buzzed, a text from Ethan. "Hey, Liv, Madison's so excited about the house. I know the money was for your law degree, but you've got a great job already. Family should help family, right?" My chest tightened. Ethan had always been reckless with money, chasing quick fixes instead of stability. Madison must have seen that weakness instantly. Another text lit the screen. "Realtor needs the funds by Friday. You're not mad, are you?" I typed a response, then deleted it. Silence would speak louder. Let them stew when their dream home slips away. A soft ping drew my eyes to my computer. An email from Columbia Law Admissions confirming my final interview next week. The fund wasn't sitting idle. It was fueling the future I'd fought for in secret, taking night classes while running my firm. Open the blinds, the Manhattan skyline glowing gold in the dusk. Madison thought she'd won. With forged papers and smug laughter, She had no idea she'd just walked into her own downfall. My grandmother's words echoed in my mind. Sometimes the best revenge is letting people think they've won, right up until they realize they've trapped themselves. Friday was only 3 days away. I wondered what excuse Madison would give the realtor when the money didn't appear. More importantly, how would she explain to Ethan why she tried to steal from his sister? I picked up my phone and texted Rachel. Send me everything you've documented. I want to be ready when this implodes. Then I turned back to my Columbia Law application, a small smile tugging at my lips. Madison thought she'd crushed my dream. Instead, she was about to learn the cost of underestimating the quiet one in the family. By Friday morning, my phone was buzzing with frantic texts. The bank says the transfer failed. What did you do? You think you're so clever. James is devastated. How could you betray your own brother? I sipped my coffee, scrolling through the evidence Rachel sent. Every attempted withdrawal, every forged signature, even recordings of Madison trying to impersonate me on the phone. Then my phone rang. Ethan. Olivia, we need to talk. His voice cracked with tension. Madison says there's an issue with the transfer. There is, I replied evenly. Want to know what really happened, or keep pretending your wife didn't just try to steal from me? Dead silence. Then, weakly, wasn't stealing. I signed the papers. We're family. Did you actually sign them, Ethan, or did Madison slip you a different set after showing you fake documents? Another pause. I could hear the pieces falling into place. Come over, he finally said. Please, I need to understand. An hour later, I sat in their glossy new living room, laptop open. Madison paced like a caged tiger, heels clicking against the hardwood she'd bullied Ethan into installing. As you can see, I said, coolly pulling up the digital files, these signatures don't match your handwriting. The bank's fraud team flagged it immediately. You had no right to lock that money away, Madison snapped, her voice shrill. It was just sitting there while you played pretend about law school. We needed it. Needed it? I arched a brow. For a house? Or for control? If you want to see how I turn this confrontation into the ultimate twist, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned. The next part will leave you speechless. For what? A 5-bedroom house you can't afford? Another closet of designer clothes? Or was it to cover the gambling debts you've been hiding from Ethan? Madison froze. Her perfect tan seemed to drain in seconds. Ethan's head snapped toward her. What gambling debts? His voice was low, dangerous. I clicked open another file on my laptop, a credit report Rachel had pulled during our investigation. Your wife has been busy, Ethan. 3 maxed-out credit cards, 2 personal loans, and regular withdrawals from the Golden Crown Casino. I let the words sink in before adding, did you wonder why she was suddenly so interested in my law school fund? Madison's composure shattered. You had no right to look into my finances. Actually, I said, my tone icy, I had every right. You tried to steal from me. Did you really think I wouldn't protect myself? Ethan sank into the couch, his face gray. Madison, is this true? The gambling? It's not what you think, she stammered. I had a system. I was going to win it back. The house would fix everything, I cut in, or give you something to remortgage when the casinos bled you dry. How much? Ethan's voice cracked. Well, how much do you owe? Her silence screamed louder than words. Over $200,000, 0 cents, I said for her. That's just what we've traced. Ethan dropped his head into his hands. His shoulders trembled. Get out, he whispered. Baby, please. Get out. His roar shook the room. You forged my signature. You tried to steal from my sister, and you've been gambling away our life. Get out. Madison snatched her purse, mascara streaking her face. Fine, but don't think this is over. The door slammed like a gunshot. Ethan collapsed back into the couch, voice breaking. I'm sorry, Liv. I should have listened when you said something felt off. I just wanted to believe someone could love me like that. I sat beside him and slid an envelope across the table. Here, you'll need this. What is it? Contact for a divorce lawyer, and prove Madison planned this from the start. Side. Texts bragging about marrying into money, casino receipts dating back before their wedding, and transfers to offshore accounts. She never loved me, did she? He whispered. No, I said softly. But now you know the truth. But that's not on you, I said softly. She's a con artist, Ethan. She's done this before. His head jerked up. What? I slid the final document across the coffee table, a police report from 3 years ago. Another marriage, another theft, another family left in ruins. She vanished before charges could stick, changed her name, moved here, and found her next target. You. Ethan stared at the page, silent for what felt like minutes. Finally, he looked up, voice hollow. The law fund. Is it safe? I nodded. Grandma taught me well. The money's been in a secure trust for weeks. Every attempt Madison made was blocked and logged. We have everything we need to press charges. His jaw tightened. Do it. Press charges. All of it. I'll testify. Whatever you need. She's not doing this to anyone else. I hugged him, feeling his shoulders tremble with a mix of rage and grief. I'm sorry, he whispered. I was supposed to protect you, not put you in danger. You did, I said gently. Back then, you protected me. Let me protect you, now. My phone buzzed. A text from Rachel. The police are ready. Madison's previous victims are on board. This will stick. Ethan exhaled, as if years of hope and humiliation were leaving his body. What happens now? Now, I said, we make sure Madison never cons another family. And then? I smiled faintly. I've got a law school interview to crush. For the first time all day, Ethan's mouth curved into something like hope. You're really doing it? Becoming an attorney? That's what the money was for. That's what Grandma wanted. He nodded slowly, eyes glistening. She'd be proud of you, not just for catching Madison, but for never giving up on your dream. And she'd be proud of you, I said softly, for facing the truth, even when it hurts. Outside, thunder cracked over Manhattan, the storm rolling in as if echoing Madison's downfall. Somewhere out there she was scrambling, unaware her game was over. 2 months later, I adjusted my blazer in front of the mirror, Columbia Law's crest gleaming on my acceptance folder. Today wasn't just about my future. It was about justice. Ready? Ethan asked from the doorway. He looked better, lighter somehow, now that the shadows under his eyes were fading. The divorce papers had been filed the day after Madison's schemes blew apart. Ready, I confirmed, grabbing my leather briefcase. The courthouse buzzed with voices, but it wasn't just us. 3 other families sat in the gallery, victims of Madison's previous cons, different names every time. Madison Lee, Morgan Wells, Marie Walker. Same playbook. Marry fast, sniff out assets, forge signatures, drain accounts, vanish. You don't have to testify, I whispered as we sat. Rachel can handle everything. No, Ethan said firmly. I need to face her. We all do. When Madison entered, flanked by 2 officers, her designer wardrobe had been traded for an orange jumpsuit. She'd been arrested at JFK 3 weeks ago with a fake passport and $50.00 K in cash. Gone was the smug smile I remembered from that phone call, replaced by panic when her eyes met the families waiting for her. The hearing moved fast. Rachel presented the evidence with surgical precision. Forged documents, gambling debts, wire transfers to offshore accounts, and Madison's fraud trail across 3 states. Each family stood, recounting almost identical betrayals. Trust shattered, lives nearly ruined. When Ethan testified, his voice didn't shake. She made me believe I'd found love, he said. Instead, I almost helped her steal my sister's future. That fund wasn't just money. It was a promise from our grandmother. A dream Olivia never gave up on. Madison doesn't just steal cash. She steals hope. I squeezed his hand as he returned. Then it was my turn. Unlike some of Madison's victims, I began, voice steady. I was lucky. My grandmother taught me to trust my instincts, to document everything. She left me more than an education fund. She left me a lesson. Protect what matters. Today isn't revenge, it's accountability. So no one else loses what we almost did. The judge's verdict was swift. Guilty on all counts. 5 years in prison. Restitution to every victim, no early release. As they led her away, Madison spat over her shoulder. You think this changes anything? You'll never make it as a lawyer. You'll fail, and I'll be out before you finish your first year. I smiled faintly. We'll see about that. I smiled, hearing my grandmother's words in my head. Let them think they've won, until they realize you were 10 steps ahead. Actually, I replied evenly, meeting Madison's glare. I start law school next month. Your little stunt didn't break me. It made me stronger. I leaned closer, my voice calm but sharp as glass. So, thank you, Madison. You taught me the best revenge isn't payback, it's thriving in spite of people like you. Outside the courthouse, Ethan walked beside me, silent for a moment before saying, I found her ring, the engagement ring I worked overtime for, saved for months. It's fake, just like everything else. Sell it, I suggested, put it toward a fresh start. He shook his head and pressed the small velvet box into my hand. No, I want you to have it, sell it, add it to your fund, turn something that symbolized her lies into something good. That evening, I sat in my office, overlooking the Manhattan skyline. Beside my laptop lay a photo of Grandma, her smile as warm as the day she taught me to trust my instincts. Next to it, a letter from Columbia Law, embossed in gold. Accepted. My phone buzzed, a text from Ethan. Thank you for never giving up on me, even when I couldn't see the truth. I smiled softly, thinking how different this could have ended if I hadn't listened to Grandma's lessons. Madison had pegged me as naive, too focused on books to notice her schemes, but instead, she ran into someone prepared, someone who refused to let her steal a future built on hard work. I picked up my navy mousse suit jacket, brushing a hand over the embroidered name inside. Olivia Grant, JD candidate. Sometimes, victory isn't just keeping what's yours. It's proving to yourself and everyone else that no storm can shake your foundation when you know who you are. As for Madison, she'd have 5 years in prison to reflect on how her greed led her straight into a cell. Meanwhile, the quiet sister she underestimated was walking into the halls of Columbia Law, building a career on truth and justice. What would you have done in my place? Would you have stayed silent or fought back? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I read every single one. Your support means everything to me, especially after everything I went through. If you believe in standing up for yourself, in protecting your dreams no matter who tries to take them away, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what happens next. And here's my advice. Never underestimate the power of preparation. Trust your instincts, guard what matters, and remember, sometimes the best revenge is living the life they swore you couldn't.